What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today what I'm going to be showing you is the unboxing and building process of the Rogue Abram GHD glute ham developer. Because, at least to give you a little backstory of like the reason why I even got this glute ham developer is that, at least in my squats or my deadlifts, I noticed at some point that like my back just either was always not in the best place, or just I was lacking the mobility and strength in all the accompanying joints like my hip, my glutes, my hamstrings and whatnot, like that I would need to in order to like to PR and to continue to show improvement in things. And so at some point, I was just like, I don't know whether or not I need to do more squats, increase the volume, do more deadlifts and increase the volume, and of course do pull-ups, accessory work and whatnot. And I have been, but then I never really saw any increase in my ability to pull more weight in the the squat and deadlift. So like, I was looking at things that we can do, and that's when the GHD came to mind, and Rogue had the Abram, and it's quite expensive piece of equipment. I'll be honest with you. Like I think it was somewhere above like $800, including shipping, which was about 150 or so. So, I'm, buy once, cry once, right? Like so, basically, I just bit the bullet. I bought it, and like honestly, having it for like over about a month now, month and a half, like I have no regrets whatsoever, because what I've noticed is that I have had better stability, better core activation, better lat activation, better back activation, glutes, hamstrings, because I was able to take the time to focus on these things that I was lacking. And honestly, I don't know whether or not I really needed a GHD to do it, but having the GHD definitely helped me put some emphasis on the areas in which that I was lacking. Because in general, the posterior chain, your back, your all your erector muscles and things like that, play a decent role into pulling heavier weight and whatnot. But then what I also noticed is that working on your anterior chain is something that you need to do as well. Like, that's going to be your weakest link at the end of the day. And so that's basically what the GHD really helped me do. And I honestly, at the end of the day, I think I'm glad that I bought it, right? Because, it it was a process. Like, not to shift gears too much, but like, looking through this as I'm voicing over here, like it was a process to put this thing together, because this if like just to speak on it a little bit, like the screws they're about like maybe, I don't know, 8 each screw, right? But then each 8 were slightly different lengths, each set of 8, right? So like over some time, you'll see in the video that like I got the orientation of the mid section incorrect, so I had to swap some stuff around, and then it's a piece of work to put this thing together. Let me tell you, like it took about, I want to say maybe an hour or so, and that's me playing music. And also you see that I had to put on my my belt there, because bending over like this and screwing in things at these weird angles and whatnot, like always gave me pain for some reason. And that's another thing that I was recognizing, that maybe I just wasn't focusing enough on my posterior chain, because simple tasks like this shouldn't be hurting my back the way that it has been, right? Or maybe I'm getting old. I'm only 27, 26, geez, and like I'm running into issues like this. But I think overall, it has been a learning process, right? And it's understanding each section that we need to improve, and then so on and so forth. And so at the end of the day, I think that it was a good investment to make, most definitely, because the GHD really helped me strengthen my anterior chain. So basically, my hip flexors, my quads when I'm doing the full length sit-ups, when I'm doing the hip extensions to work on my hamstrings and glutes specifically. Like there's a way you can hit lats as well with that movement when you extend your elbows to look like a cobra, like things like that. Honestly and truly has been the things that significantly help my growth and strength in the all three significant lifts, right? The bench press, squat, and deadlift. And as of right now, as of today, working on my anterior chain a lot more with the GHD, I've been able to get my bench press up to 290. And it's taken a while for sure because, I really need to strengthen up my glutes and my quads a bit more in order to begin to push more weight with squat, because right now my squat and deadlift, they're not moving anywhere, bro. Like, I'll be honest with you, I've been stuck at 455 conventional deadlift for some months now, and maybe that's just the name of the game. You plateau for a little bit, but like eventually you got to break through that ceiling with different type of accessory work in order to pull heavier. And in the same way, in order to squat heavier, you just kind of focus on the weakest links, and then eventually everything just starts to work out. And that's the belief that I've held for some time now. And if the fact that I'm seeing improvement in my bench press, then I'm saying the only thing now is just to focus more so on the technique and see where we go from there, right? And overall, like it's been a great investment, I'll be honest with you, because for the 6 weeks or so, or 7 weeks now that I've had this GHD, like it has, I use this thing in some way or other every day. I work on my abs every day with it. I work on my back every day with it. Like it's been something that I would do cool downs and warm-ups with in order to make sure I continue to fatigue my posterior and anterior chain, the weakest links that I felt throughout that day, in order to continue to understand the proper technique and form that I need to do for all of my different leverages. And not to skip the tune just a little bit there, or not to skip the tune, not to switch the subject too much. You saw there I had to switch around the midsection because maybe I was following the directions backwards, but the way that I saw it in my head and then the way that like the layout was looking, it didn't match up until I noticed that it was backwards there. So luckily, at least the footprint of the legs was symmetrical, so all I had to do was rotate the midsection. But everything else on the GHD really went up pretty easy, and it's very easy to work with because you see the pin slot there in the back where you slide it forward and back depending on how tall you are to make sure that you're laying down on the pads pretty well. And that's about it. Like other than that, like it's so useful in many areas that I've described here, because my biggest downfall I think would be just my lower back. I don't know whether or not it's tweaked. I've come up with so many different things to wondering what is wrong with my back. But after getting this GHD, I definitely saw significant gains, and I don't really have the pain in my lower back anymore. Sometimes at the end of the day, it would be hard to go to sleep because I gotta find the right comfortable position and whatnot to stay in order to go to sleep. But now, after some time with the GHD, I don't have that issue no more. Maybe I just had weak muscles, or maybe the stronger my muscles are getting in my back, it's compensating for whatever may be wrong with my spine. I don't know, but it does help me sleep better at night. You can take that for what it is, and it has been very meaningful because it's honestly it's helping me focus on the technique of a squat so much more now because, when I'm squatting, I'm able to feel, not only how the bar sits on my back, but like how my legs, glutes, and my back are reacting to the bar, and like when you're going down, right, to squat. Like they always say, slow, do it as not as slow as you can, but like in such a tempo that you can feel all the proper muscles working, and keep those cues in mind every time you squat for whatever weight you're squatting with. And honestly, that's it's been a great help. Like I don't mean to repeat myself as much as I am now, but like it's made a significant change in my, let's say, it's made a significant improvement in my confidence that I can still continue to push more weight and and get stronger, because I still got a lot of years ahead of me, right, in this journey. And honestly, what recording this now, I am day 656 in the fitness journey. And honestly, at some point I lost a lot of weight, and then now I've built up a lot of muscle, and then now I'm trying to do the total body reconfiguration, where I'm just converting a good percentage of the body fat that I have now into usable functional muscle, right? And in order to do that, over some time, I think I said it earlier, that you're going to plateau, right? You're going to plateau, and then you're going to have to find the areas in which that I'm finding that I'm weak at, in order to to continue and push more weight, right? I don't have any issues in particular with any joint mobility. The only particular issue, at least in the very beginning when I got the GHD, was that around my hips, when I would squat too deep, I would find a slight pinch happening on the righter side of my hip. And making sure I did my proper stretches about my hip, as well as using the GHD in the glute hinge raises. Dude, I said it earlier. Oh my goodness. Where you're facing the floor, a hip extension. There we go. When you're doing your hip extension, which is about the hips, I always make sure to try and rotate a little bit too about the hips, and doing that over some time really helped relieve me of that little pinching pain whenever I go for a squat. And now it's just become a routine that I do every day, or every leg day, or any day that I feel like I'm gonna deadlift also, because since it's also about the hips, when you do it conventionally, at least it's less so about the hips when you do a sumo pull. But end of the day, it's been very useful, and I can't say enough about this GHD, yo. Like, it's if you got the chance to get one, the opportunity to get one, I would say get it. Don't think about it, because it will help you in more ways than one. Like, I didn't know I needed more strength in my anterior chain in order to push more weight, for example, on the bench press. I didn't know I needed to do the anterior chain all that much more to move my working sets up on a conventional deadlift. I haven't PR'd in a while, because I don't really think that's important for me right now. I think that I need to get comfortable, more and more comfortable, increasing my rep range at a given percentage of my known max for now, until that that 70 or 80% range really starts to get lighter. And then that's when we would probably go for a PR and see just how good we're doing now, right? And I think with that mentality, and when we approach some sort of ceiling that we have, and then when we just take time to step back a little bit, not digress, but just understand where you are, understand the shortcomings, and then just go on from there. And honestly, since the GHD here is pretty much done, it's set up and everything. Like you see me out here just trying it out, and yeah, it's honestly my first time, so I didn't understand like the placements of things and whatnot. But honestly, I knew when you lay down, you want to be parallel with the floor and make sure you're squeezing your glutes at the top and things like that, and really focusing on that movement to be about the hips, and that you're flexing your back at the top and things, and really keeping a stable spine. Like at the end of the day, that's like what it is. And this platform, the platform or the pads, everything really is just very sturdy and comfortable. Like, I didn't feel anything move, probably on behalf of myself also, that I made sure every screw was fit in the places that it was supposed to be. And we did not have to worry about any sudden tumbles or falls or anything like that. And so I think this one I am going for a hamstring pull now instead, to see just how painful it is. And this is my first time doing it, and so like, as you can see, my hamstrings were not where I thought they were, given that I'm able to like, pull deadlift for so much, which is a purely like a hamstring hip, activation. Who knew that my hamstrings were all that either stiff or just not as strong as I thought? Maybe my quads have been taken over where they shouldn't have been. And so these are areas that, the GHD really helped me notice. And so with that, hopefully maybe it helps you notice anything too, that you may be lacking in your training, and whether or not you get one. Doesn't have to be the Rogue one. There's many other companies that have GHDs, and I should have honestly checked those first before I got this one, but it is what it is. I got it. I love it, and it's helping me during the journey, and I'm pretty sure any GHD you receive will also help you in your journey and see your weak points. And so with that said, thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.